Hi, kindergarten. It's Miss B again with story time. I know last week we had last 2 weeks we've had Flat Stanley stories, but we're going back to Captain Awesome because Captain Awesome versus Nacho Cheese Man did a very good game of hide and seek for me, and it was hiding here at my house. So we're going to start this week with number 2 in the Captain Awesome series, Captain Awesome versus Nacho Cheese Man. Now, if you remember from our first one, Nacho Cheese Man is a friend of Captain Awesome. So as a reader, I'm like, what happened? Why are they against each other? Because versus means to compete. So Stan Kirby wrote it. The wonderful illustrations are by George O'Connor. And are you ready? Here we go. Captain Awesome versus Nacho Cheeseman. Chapter 1, the slobbering power of Mr. Drools. And there's a little hint in the picture. By the super mighty force of Captain Awesome and the canned cheese power of Nacho Cheeseman, I call this Sunnyview Superhero Squad Treehouse Sleepover Meeting to order. Thump. Eugene McGillicuddy banged the wooden spoon against an empty shoebox. The Sunnyview Superhero Squad meeting had begun. Sunnyview? Superhero? Squad? That's right. Eugene and his best friend, Charlie Thomas Jones, were not just ordinary students at Sunnyview Elementary. They also had super secret superhero identities. Eugene was Captain Awesome, and Charlie was Nacho Cheeseman. There they are. Together, along with Captain Awesome's hamster sidekick and the class pet, Turbo, they formed the Sunnyview Superhero Squad to protect the universe from bad guys. Hurry up, Charlie! The brownies are waiting. Brownies, yum! The perfect superhero snack, thought Eugene. Evil doesn't stand a chance against chocolate fudge. I'll agree with that. The first thing to do was to thank Eugene's mom, Betsy, for the homemade brownies and milk that she brought to the treehouse. The next order of business was to eat them. Thanks, Mom, Eugene said, his mouth stuffed full of brownie. Charlie mumbled, trying not to dribble any on his Super Dude t-shirt. You're welcome, Charlie, I think, Eugene's mom said. Having delivered her super sweet superhero treats, she climbed back down the ladder. She knew that when it came to saving the world from the bad guys, it was always best for moms and dads to leave it to the experts. Captain Awesome and Nacho Cheeseman. The Sunnyview Superhero Squad had one mission: to stop the evilly spread of evil in Sunnyview. Their one mission, however, had 3 parts. 1, be alert to evil. 2, find evil. 3, stop evil from eviling. I think we should add part number 4, eat more brownies. Charlie quickly stuffed another brownie into his mouth. All those in favor of our mission? Charlie raised his hand. Yes, Nacho Cheeseman, including eat more brownies, Eugene replied. Those in favor say the super word of the day. Mighty! Eugene and Charlie said at the same time. Even Turbo let out a little squeak. Eugene banged the wooden spoon against the shoebox again. Thump, thump, thump. It was time for the squad's main non-evil stopping activity. Non means not. Besides eating more brownies. Reading the latest issue of Super Dude. Issue number 429, Charlie cheered. Only the greatest thing since issue number 428, Eugene declared. Each member of the Sunnyview Superhero Squad. Wait, What's that you say? You've never heard of Super Dude? You're not a member of the Friends of Super Dude Society like Eugene and Charlie? You don't know about his TV show, toys, games, action figures, and more? Where do you live? The moon? Super Dude is only the most amazing superhero of all time. Just listen. Eugene opened the comic book. Page 1. Super Dude's arch nemesis, Trash Cant, was back in Super City. I'm ready to crush Super Dude and trash his inner dudeness. See, they're reading their book. Whoa! This is going to be the greatest issue ever! Eugene could barely wait to turn the page. And it was. Just when it looked like Super Dude would lose for sure and Trash Cant would litter his evil garbageness around the world, Super Dude punched Trash Cant right into this recycling bin and dumped him on the curb in time for Trash Day. Good timing there. Eugene turned the last page and closed the comic. He and Charlie sat in silence. That, was the greatest thing I'd ever read, Eugene finally said with a sigh, still in awe. This is, without a doubt, my most favorite comic book ever. No, make that double ever. Whoa! The only thing I've ever doubled ever was peanut butter fudge nachos with marshmallows. You know, the tiny ones, Charlie said. With the latest awesome issue of Super Dude completed, Eugene rubbed Turbo's furry head. Good night, buddy. Good night, Turbo, Charlie said, and clicked off his flashlight. Soon, both superheroes were fast asleep, and the treehouse was filled with the squeak of Turbo's exercise wheel as it spun round and round. And then there was a bump. Eugene opened one sleepy eye. It's probably nothing. And then he heard it again. Thump. His other eye snapped open. That's something. My Captain Awesome Danger sense is tingling. Something was in the yard. Eugene sat up in his sleeping bag and listened. Rattle. What could it be? Yes, it was. His old furry enemy, Mr. Drools, had returned. Mr. Drools was the hairy four-legged monster from the Howling Paw Nebula, whose drooly jaws loved to chomp everything Eugene held most dear. And worse, his evil Drool house was right next door to Eugene's home. Mr. Drools had turned the once normal house into his own bark yard. He's stolen 3 Frisbees, popped my soccer ball, eaten the cover off my baseball, and ripped up my kite like an old sock. What's he after this time? Eugene wondered. And then he realized something awful. No! Not my Super Dude issue number 429! Eugene jumped up without unzipping his sleeping bag. He hopped like the rare hopping caterpillars of Mathonia on Super Dude number 97. He hopped on his flashlight, lost his balance, and fell to the wooden floor. Eugene crawled from his sleeping bag. Splinter! Ouch! 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 Since superheroes can do anything, Eugene quickly pulled out the splinter. He felt around for his flashlight and clicked it on. There he is. Look, poor guy. This was a nighttime job for Captain Awesome and Nacho Cheeseman. Wake up, he whispered to Charlie. Mr. Drools is in the backyard next door. Charlie shot out of his sleeping bag like he'd been stuck with a pin. He grabbed his emergency can of nacho cheese he kept under his pillow. Eugene placed Turbo into the Turbomobile. They would need the power of 2 superheroes and 1 sidekick to stop the barking, slobbering madness of Mr. Drools. Go chase your tail, Mr. Drools. You'll never get my comic book. Captain Awesome called down from the treehouse. Your slobber is useless on this night. I must warn you now, Nacho Cheeseman called out. I've got cheese. The trio of heroes climbed down from their treehouse moon base and onto the cold surface of the moon. And tomorrow we will find out what happens next in Chapter 2, Fighting Evil is Messy. Snip, snap, snap. Story time is all told out for today. See you later, kindergarten.